Hello and welcome to the match report. Blah 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 blah. Hello and welcome to the match report. Hosted by. We're live, man. We're gonna mess up eventually. That's what it is.
That's cool.
It is all right. Hosted, of course, by Free Midfield, Cahill, Kojo on the right. Somebody's mic is bugging out. I'm not sure whose it is. It might be your Iron Brew, bro.
I think it might be our bro for 1 second if you could sort it out.
You have to wait. You have to. There we go. Anyway, Kojo, how you doing, sir?
Was it me?
I'm not sure.
It might. Wait, let me mute myself. No.
Yeah, it's definitely me. It's not me, yeah.
It's me then.
Oh, wow.
I need to sort my mic out. You can say go over whilst I sort my mic out.
All right, no worries, man. Yes, as Kel said, I am Kojo. Obviously from Liverpool, of course, as you know. And this is our guest for the first time joining us. I thought it would be appropriate to bring on a Liverpool fan since this tends to be it's a Liverpool weekend, if I'm going to be honest. So joining us is Nine Squeeze, aka Samuel. Bro, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. Thank you for inviting me on, and yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you, man.
No worries, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. What happened to my United shirt? Big run. This was bought as a gift to me, so I thought I'd put it on today.
Is that's the main reason you're wearing
that is
shirt,
absolutely the reason, man, why I'm wearing a Barcelona shirt.
I have nothing to do with what happened last night, right?
What happened last night?
Well, as you mentioned it, let's get right into it whilst you're drinking your Iron Brew from your Harry Potter cup. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 5. Goals from Mohamed Salah. He bagged a hat trick. The first hat trick the first hat trick scored in the Manchester at Old Trafford from a Liverpool player. Had to happen eventually, and it happened today. Hat trick from Mo Salah, Diego Jota as well, and who else got the goal? Naby Keita. There we go.
Naby Keita, yeah.
I mean, let's start there. I feel like I don't need to say really much anything. No questions needed. Just Kojo. Feelings. How you feeling, bro?
You know what? Can we do this a little bit differently this time? Let's start with the praise first because Liverpool scored 5. Man United is going to be a long moan. So let's start with the praise first.
You want to get into it. Fair enough. Samuel, how are you feeling after this historic occasion?
I could even just count myself in it. Obviously, I knew that going to the game that we were strong and we were probably going to beat United, but I didn't think it was going to be for 5-0, let alone even 3-0. I thought a nice 2-0, 2-1 victory, tight. It's a derby. Things go out the window, and yeah. So obviously, as the game went on, scored in the first 5 minutes. I was like, okay, and then obviously when we scored again, I'll be real, yeah. I genuinely didn't even my celebration wasn't as when I was celebrating, it was more just laughing because I couldn't believe it. I genuinely couldn't believe it. The game was just funny, man. It was just funny. It was just a funny game to be honest. I don't think that we even played that well. I genuinely don't think Liverpool played to a standard that we usually do. So yeah, it was a funny game. You know what I'm saying? It's just a really funny game.
Yeah, let's get into that because the idea that Liverpool didn't play that well. I mean, watching yesterday, I tend to agree with that point that you've made that you didn't really get into the game. It was pretty much Manchester United gifting you a lot of goals, but Salah took them very clinically. You can't give Salah those opportunities.
Yeah, I think United defensively were a shambles, man. I couldn't believe some of the space that Salah, Firmino, Joe were given. I think that game was just a game where, I think once we scored the second goal, I think their heads just dropped. You know what I'm saying? And obviously from there, it was going to be how much. You know what I'm saying? So, Yeah, man, Salah was exquisite as usual. I don't even think that he even played that well. Do you know what I'm saying? I think in the game, you look at his stats, he didn't even complete any dribbles. So it's like he didn't really come out of that second gear. So yeah, man, like he was. I feel like the whole team was good to a certain level, but honestly, I honestly didn't feel as if we played so well to get that 5-0 win. Like in a way, we deserved the 5-0 win, but we didn't play to that level, if that makes sense. So yeah.
I mean, Kojo, you kind of trying to hold off with the Manchester United critique. Let's call it that. Let's be kind. Let's call it. But what went so wrong for Manchester United? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a figurehead that you want to bemoan, but as a whole, as a collective, what went wrong?
United's sort of last 3 years has been you underperform against the smaller boys, but against the bigger boys, somehow you pull out a result. But for me, that's not something that can last. That's not something that can be sustained. And that's what I feel like people need to actually, recognize, because that Atalanta performance was scary. If you want to keep it real, it was very, very scary. Coming back due to a passionate sort of energizing comeback is not something you can do against Liverpool. Atalanta, the fact they went 2-0 up in that first half with two midfielders in their back three and Duvan Zapata on the bench because he wasn't completely fit to start the game. They were depleted and they came to Old Trafford and they outclassed Man United in that first half. And they were still creating chances in the second half. We just managed to get the 3 goals to come and win the game. But they were still cutting us open. So when you come to Liverpool, the first thing that alarmed me was the lineup, because it was the same starting 11 against Atalanta. So the first 11 in that 45 minutes that had a shocker before you had to make changes for us to get back into the game, you decided to start the biggest game of your calendar year in terms of Premier League fixtures with the same team, with the claim that they had some sort of momentum. So that was already nonsense. And then the performance was just incoming. The goals were so easy. They were so easy. If you see the first goal, if you watch it back, in between our midfielders, and when I say midfielders, I'm not talking about Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Greenwood. I'm talking about McTominay and Fred. In between them and our defense were 4 Liverpool players. So within the first 10 minutes of the game, you're already on a 4-on-1 situation because Wan-Bissaka is running to Timbuktu. Lindelof is following him. Maguire also follows him and leaves Luke Shaw in the back by himself. So there's no cohesion, there's no protection, there is no logic. And Jurgen Klopp, being the nice guy that he is, tried to claim before the game that what did he say? Sorry, I'm gonna have to just move the mic as well. Sorry, there you go. He came to claim that he watched the game and there was not one moment where he was rubbing his hands and thinking that they would come away with an easy win or something. In my head, I'm like, no, you're a manager worth everything in soul. You know exactly where to hurt teams. You saw that and you said, I'm going to kill these guys, because within a minute, Firmino was finding Salah in the middle. Salah was nowhere near his position. He found his way straight into the middle. He's the most dangerous player. Keita's now running in behind. Easy. And it was the same thing. The back line, minus De Gea, and the 2 midfielders had the worst game in a United shirt from all of them I've ever seen. It was shocking. And you don't do that against Liverpool. You don't give Liverpool opportunities. Samuel said it. They didn't have to get out of first gear. When Liverpool can beat you 5-0 in a major game like this and they don't have to get out of first gear, that says a lot about your performance. The guy's got to go, man. I don't even say his name. He's the guy.
Just the guy.
He's the guy right now.
There's the Scottish one now. There's just the guy. The Norwegian one, should we call him?
He is from Norway, yeah. Mm-hmm. His time is up, man. His time
is it? Oh boy, why is his time up? I don't understand this. Have you've been playing well? You finished second last year. European Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at it with rose tinted glasses on, it looks like it's all perfect. It's all hunky dory. You got a few more games to go. Yes, this was a minor blip. But it's Manchester United here. Manchester United don't sack managers, do they? They're a proud club. They're a workers' club. If I'm getting my my Gary Neville impression on correctly,
you get it spot on. No, look. For me, it's like this. Jose Mourinho got sacked after finishing second, winning 2 trophies, and not being backed in his final window at the club when he wanted defenders. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second, lost 4 semi-finals in a row, got to a final, lost the final after making his first change after 100 minutes, but still backed in the window and given a new contract. And then he lost 5-0. If Mourinho can get sacked for losing 3-1 to Liverpool at Anfield, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can get sacked for losing 5-0 in his house. There's no excuse. At this point, it doesn't have to even be said anymore. The defining factor for me was all these people that we follow, either on my personal Twitter, on the podcast Twitter. Obviously, we have legions of fans, but of different clubs. But the ones that you were staunch Ole in will all make a statement saying, "Hey, you know what, the time's up, man. I just have to recognize that, you know, he's done well here, but he's not the man." And it's like, it took you losing 5-0 to Liverpool to realize that he's not the man. Not losing to Villarreal, not losing to Leicester, not struggling against Wolverhampton when Adama Traore pretty much made Fred one of his victims. How many poor or underwhelming performances did they need before they recognized, oh wait, really, maybe he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's built a nice squad. He just doesn't know what to do with the squad. And there's stuff coming out today that he does indeed allow Carrick and McKenna to take charge of training. And they implement an attacking style. They play a different formation, a 3-5-2, because there is no defensive midfielder. So they try to train that, and then you go into games and say, by the way, we're playing 4-2-3-1 again, and we're playing a bit of a lower block. So you're telling your coaches to coach their way, but you're not actually in cohesion with them. You're not telling them, this is what I want to do. If you told McKenna and Carrick, I want to stick with the 4-2-3-1, instead of go and just coach these guys and train them, they would find a way to get these guys playing in a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, it's not happening. So, honestly, I think him and Phelan need to go. I'll keep the 2 coaches. It's done, man. It's done.
Sam, let's bring you on this. You clearly didn't try to smash them 5-0. They gifted you these goals completely. But coming off of the tricky win against Atletico Madrid, is there some worry? Are you feeling worried going forward, knowing that this was because Man United were bad and not because Liverpool were great? Because you didn't really look great, and I think you agree with that. But you were very clinical. Is there any worry going forward now that this may paper over some? I'm saying this with quotation marks, cracks in this Liverpool side.
Samuel?
I think he's gone. Same question to you, Kojo. Let's go there. Is it a papering over the cracks, this 5-0 win, or are they going to go on and push forward from this point?
No, I don't think there's any sort of crack, which is the funny thing. I think we've all recognized that Liverpool, they can be got at, obviously, and that's like any club, though, isn't it? At the end of the day, when you take a game to a team, eventually, if you can try to force them into a mistake, they can make mistakes and you can win games. Liverpool will not go unbeaten. That's the reason why Watford beat them 3-0, I think, was it 2 years ago? You know, and that's why even Man City, with all their greatness, that's why they haven't been able to go unbeaten in the season. Man United, all those years back, when they were winning trophies, they never went unbeaten either. It's because there's always a way to beat a team. Arsenal went unbeaten the season, but eventually they found their loss. There's always a way to get at a team, whether it's fair or not fair, whatever. But what is alarming is, or I think what is good for them, alarming for other clubs, is it seems like other clubs sort of falter at their knees every time Liverpool come to them. I don't know if it's a fear thing, because if it's a fear thing, that's good for Liverpool.
It has to be a fear thing. Everybody has to fear Salah at this point.
Oh, he's absolutely terrifying. And Samuel said it when he gets back. Obviously, he didn't have to play well. He didn't play well. He wasn't particularly great, but when the chances came to him, he did what he had to do. Henderson was brilliant. Henderson ran the midfield. That pass was sensational. This coming from me when Hector Herrera. When Ander Herrera was here, I was saying they were both the same person. This one's English, one's Spanish. We got our bro back.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Connection.
Continue with him.
Yeah, well,
Is this defeat, this victory, is it papering over any cracks in this Liverpool side? Because this was very much a win given off the back that Manchester United weren't great.
I'll probably say that obviously before the game anyway, like before this week or before that Atletico game, I think like I always said how our balance with our midfield defensively isn't quite there yet. I think obviously when we lost Gini, kind of lost that defensive stability. So yeah, I think this United doesn't really change things. Obviously, it does give us a bit more momentum, and who knows that we might go on a big run. So, but just in terms of what I've seen over the course of this season, I'll definitely say that defensively, not that it's even people over cracks, because I do think that even in the game, there was a few times where United got in. I believe it was Rashford.
Bruno Fernandes, Rashford had
Bruno as well. So obviously, and if I think Bruno had the first chance of the game, so if that, I think there's definitely we do have weakness. I'm saying that I do feel like with our midfield without Gini, Thiago, Fabinho wasn't there today. Our stability kind of gone. So yeah, I feel like going forward, that is definitely probably our only concern, because obviously we're scoring goals. Our defense is just good, you know what I'm saying? I think it's just the midfield, and yeah, I think if you get that right, I think we'll be good. But obviously with injuries, AFCON coming up soon, so a lot can change. But yeah, probably say our midfield defensively isn't as it was last season or season before. So yeah.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, I'd say. I mean, Fabinho not playing, that means you got a great option there. Thiago not playing, another great option. Konate, I'm not even sure if Konate is going to be the main partner to Van Dijk, because it might be Matip, it might be Joe Gomez. We don't know. So Klopp has these problems per se, but it's very much in his favour. But let's talk about Salah. You obviously got the first hat trick in a Manchester Liverpool derby at Old Trafford for a Liverpool player. I mean, is he going to stop? I don't see him stopping.
Honestly, I've run out of words for that guy, man. Like every single, I think when he scored that goal against City, from then on, I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna, like, before, whenever he scored a goal, I'm like, oh my god. But now it's just so normal. Like, it's just like, all right, you know what? Yeah, nice one. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I've run out of words for him. Like, obviously, very much appreciate here. Obviously, I hope he signs that new contract. And yeah, man, like right now, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I think this is Messi numbers. Like the form he's in is Messi, Ronaldo in the past level. So, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Hopefully, it can go on for as long as it can. Obviously, we're gonna need him if we're gonna get and try win the title or try win the Champions League. So, yeah, man, like Salah, I've actually run out of words. Like, I'm not. Like nowadays, I'm like when he scored that goal, the first goal, I was just like who else? You know what I'm saying? Like, who else? So it's like nowadays, I just sit and appreciate it, man. Like, I don't even scream and shout like I used to. I just watch him because we're witnessing greatness. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Can I introduce the third member of Free Midfield?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. Joining us. Finally, he's made it, and I think he's gonna want to go on for one as well. Actually, fellow United fan in pain.
Oh, brother.
Darren.
Yeah. Apologies, technical issues over here. But let me just say this. First off, hats off to Liverpool. Also, they took a lot of mercy on Man United in the second half.
Bro,
Mercy that the team did not deserve. The coaching staff needed to be embarrassed, and they did a little bit. But we all know we could have been looking at Man United versus Southampton score if they were really on it.
Yeah.
We could have seen like 9, easy.
Mane was trying, bro. Mane was really trying. He tried his hardest to get that.
Mane was on it. He came and had like 4 shots or something. So he was.
Yeah, he really wanted to join in on the fun. He just couldn't, man. They pretty much had everybody behind the ball at that point.
Yeah.
Trent too. Trent got a banger.
Yeah. De Gea was doing. There's the only one that can't have any sort of credit because he made that save. That's it.
You're hitting the booze, bro, man. And I understand that Manchester United are bad right now, but hitting the booze, it's not the one. It's not the one. But anyway, you wanted to mention a specific image. I'm not sure if you got it on.
I've got it for him. Yep, it's gonna just go over the screen of us guys. So, Darren, take it away, man.
Take it away, Darren.
So, this is my major issue with Man United. It's coaching and it's the shape. It's the idea that the team has allegedly got a game plan, and this is the game plan. So it looks.
This is so. Just to clarify, this is average positions of the team in the game against Liverpool, correctly?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So really, it looks like a 4-4-2, 2-4-4 hybrid, which is suicidal. Especially when you have your best defender currently fit, which is Maguire. His known weakness is lack of pace to turn, being caught on his own. There is no protection. It's as useful as like a chocolate fire guard. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, this is only a microcosm of the problems that we got here. So, for example, with the first goal, Liverpool scored, it's clear as day that the team does not know how to press, which is a coaching issue. Not only do they press in singles, but if you watch Greenwood, or when Van Dijk gets the ball, he runs straight ahead. He doesn't curve his run to block off the passing lane, which then gives basically Van Dijk, who can pick a ball out anyway, the freedom of time to pass it to Robertson. And that means Wan-Bissaka has to push up. Scott McTominay doesn't cover, shocker. But because Wan-Bissaka has to push up, that means the rest of the defence have had to move alongside to keep shape. Which means when the ball works out to the left-hand side, Salah's got the freedom of the pitch to just slot the ball away. Sorry. And it's amateur hour. And you look at the fact that when Man United are in possession as well, you've got the clear irritation for me with McTominay is his inability to get clear of the marker and shape the ball. If you're playing number 6, or if you're playing dual sixes, which Man United say allegedly, one of the defensive midfielders needs to collect the ball, needs to show for the ball, but he never does. I mean, we always passing it out to Wan-Bissaka, who is known weakest on the ball, maybe in our back 4, maybe in our strongest start 11. And the thing is, when you're building play from the fullback, touchline acts as an extra defender, so you can get houses and press. And the teams that can press really well, Liverpool probably the best pressers in the league, probably top 3 in Europe. And when you take that into account, you compare the way that they press, for example, with the way that Salah's third, I think it was, where they won the ball from Pogba and Henderson played an absolutely incredible pass. Props to him as well. He used to get some flowers because he was incredible. But when Pogba loses the ball, there are 4 players around him. They swarm him. It's pressing in packs. Pressed in packs. Whereas Man United press, one person goes, the rest stays, one person goes. And they don't press narrowly as well. They press in an expansive shape, which means it's just so easy to pick past through. If Thiago was saying, my God, because he would have had the freedom of midfield. It's really, but these are the things. This is a coaching issue. Telling Greenwood you have to curve your runs when you're pressing is a coaching issue. Getting people to press in a narrow shape is a coaching issue. So for me, the players need to hold the L because when it was 3-0 down, no, when it was 2-0 down, Maguire, as a captain, should have said, Bruno, fuck the shape, you come down, make it a 3, no more goals for at least 10 minutes. Let's do what we can to kill the game. Whether it be niggly fouls, it be 10 wasted, no more goals for at least 15 minutes. None of that happened. They did not change the way that they approached the game when it was clearly not working. And that shows a lack of leadership from a team that has a lot of flair with the leaders. A team that likes to pretend that they're leaders because they said something spiky in a press conference or because they shout and point Bruno Fernandes. So
let's mention one of those leaders. I want everybody to answer this question. So if I'm getting my facts right, it was you guys were 5-0 down at this point. How much did Paul Pogba impact this loss?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Let me see something. Wait, let me see something on Pogba, yeah?
Let's have you speak, bro.
Let me see something on Pogba, yeah? And obviously, as a Liverpool fan, like, you look from outside and like, you see how sometimes he is unfairly scapegoated for some of the things that go on at United, innit? And obviously, I'm not going to come and say, like, what do you call it, like, he's the issue or whatever, but the issue that I have with Pogba is, like, you come onto the pitch, yeah, and I think Oli put him on the right. So I think he came on for Greenwood, if I'm not mistaken. So he put him on right wing, which that in itself is odd. And obviously, I saw a few things on Twitter about how people were saying like respect Pogba for coming on and just not taking it. But obviously, the issue I have with Pogba is that for majority of his United career, he hasn't been good enough. And yeah, you can blame the managers and say Mourinho was toxic, Van Gaal toxic. I don't know, but yeah, like you can blame them forever, innit? But I feel like, especially this season and last season, Pogba was given. I feel like under Oli, he was more so played. I feel like he was allowed to play the way he wants to play. So obviously, sometimes I think he put him on the left side, and obviously he came out good. Sometimes he put it in a pivot against teams that didn't press as well. But I just feel like with Pogba, like sometimes if I was a United fan, I would have wanted him to sign a new contract, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? I feel as if like you come to the pitch and obviously I'm presuming that Ollie's brought him on to stay the game, control it a bit, and maybe try and win the game or get a draw or whatever, just get some goals and
make it more flattering.
Yeah, and obviously just like the goal for when Firmino and Henderson took off him, I'm like, this guy is 28 and he still can't play under pressure in midfield. Like, I feel like with Pogba, if you put him in a pivot against City, against Liverpool, against Bayern, they're gonna look and be like, that's the guy that we want to go and target. And I feel like I said, I'm not going to scapegoat him because obviously he's nowhere near the issue for their problems. But I just feel like at what point do you? Because I feel like there's two extremes. It's Pogba's fault and obviously it's the manager's fault, innit? I'm kind of middle where I think Pogba, like, you still don't have a favored place to play in a team. You put him with. Yes, you put him when you see him at France. He's playing with Kante or someone else. He plays well, fair enough. But you can't compare international football to club football. And I feel as if personally, if I was Pogba, from what I see, he doesn't even get enough love from the fans. Every manager that comes in doesn't really play him where he wants to play or buys players that can maximize his strengths. Me personally, like, it's a combination of things with Pogba. I feel as if he is to blame for some of the things that have happened in his career at United. But obviously, yeah.
Me and Michael both want to say some stuff here, but can I quickly just say a couple of things? I'll let you go off as soon as I finish, Michael. I promise. All right. So, for me personally, with regards to Pogba, it's an amalgamation of lots of different factors. Firstly, he does get caught on the press really often, but this happens because he's picking up the ball in so many dangerous positions because the people behind him, the sixes, aren't progressing the ball. And for somebody whose job is to get the ball and fire Hollywood passes, he's going to be the pressing trigger when he's got the ball because of the way it's set up. Secondly, the idea that he plays well alongside Conte is fancy. Conte got subbed half time in the World Cup final. As Zonzi came on, Tom got a goal in this year. The Nations League played alongside Tuchel Mendy. Is that his name? Yeah. And
my point is a proper six. That's my point.
Pogba's not a six, so.
I'm saying
playing alongside a proper six.
Alongside, he's here alongside the six.
But the thing is, a team is a composition of working parts. Like when you had Wijnaldum, Henderson, and who was the third that you say? Obi, sometimes Milner. When that was your midfield three, the job was very obvious what they had to do. Shout outside, make Robertson and Trent have the opportunity to show their strengths. When you've got a little bit more of a creative midfield, he's giving Fabinho more chance to get the ball from deep, Thiago to orchestrate, but everything works together. Man United have never had a Pogba in a team where it's all works out. But the guy has been, at one point, highest goal scorer, highest assist at the same time as Man United. He's not Frank Lampard. Never known for that. That should never be the case. Assists, yes, but goals, no, never. I mean, that with the amount of money that they spend on their attack. I will give you this though. There are some faults of Pogba. I think it is, for me, he's one of those people that when it's good, he's loving life, but when the chips are down, he's not really on it. But that's probably because he doesn't feel that relationship. Because as somebody who's living in Manchester at the moment, yeah, bro, Pogba can do the smallest things, yeah, and he's shit, X, Y, Z. Goals wants him gone. Gary Neville wants him gone. Blah, blah, blah. It's personal. So personally, for me, if I'm Pogba, I'm dipping. I'm signing a pre-contract at PSG in January and dipping. Because he's never going to get that love he needs because he's low-key a confidence player. And he doesn't really get the encouragement he needs to be United. That being said, sometimes when the chips are down, he's not the guy that pulls you through. And when Bruno has done that at times, he gets put against Pogba and sort of, well, Bruno's done it. Why can't you? Because Bruno plays as a second striker and he gets goals and assists primarily. Where you need to be able to have trust in people behind you and in front of you to efficiently orchestrate the game, which is what Pogba's job is to do. But Michael, go say anything.
For me, I think it's just very simple. Pogba's targeted because he's the best player in Man United. I think that's what it's supposed to get for me. So, going to the Liverpool game yesterday, when Fred, and it was Fred in particular that was being closed down, Fred was not even allowed to get a touch when he was closed down because they recognise that him and McTominay, they're not in sync. They've never been in sync. There's no cohesion there in that so-called defensive protection of United. So when those two play, you tend to see that McTominay gets the ball and then just plays it sideways towards Fred. And the thing is, Fred is not the one that's going to turn and try and or even recognise his environment. You saw it for the goals conceded. You saw for him on the ball. Every time that United gave the ball away in a dangerous area, it involves Fred one way or another. McTominay just becomes invisible after he gives the ball away. That's what he does. He gives possession to if it's to one of our players, always Fred or Wan-Bissaka, and if it's not that, it's opposition. He gives the ball away a lot, and then he goes missing in his defensive duties. Fred will lose the ball, and he will chase back. McTominay is jogging. You can see him just jogging. There's no effort there. So when Pogba came on the pitch, what happened was in the first 2-3 touches, Pogba was beat one or two players, and he played the ball a bit forward, maybe sideways. And then Liverpool naturally recognised that, well, he's an issue. Even at 5-0 down, we're going to make sure that you don't have any chance of even making it 5-1 because that's how you assert your dominance in games. So that goal, the Salah hat-trick, The ball is played to him, and immediately you see Firmino from behind, and you see Jordan Henderson come at him as well. And the reason they did that is because they recognize that if they give him time to find passes, he's the most dangerous player on the pitch. So that's the target. The guy has to be the target. You have to target the most dangerous player on the pitch in the midfield. You can't give them time. It's the same way you would target like a Kevin De Bruyne. But the issue is with Man City, they have more quality in the overall midfield. So if De Bruyne's having a bad day, Bernardo Silva will have a good day. He's having many good days right now. And if it's not him, it's Phil Foden. And you can still rely on Rodri or Fernandinho behind you to do the job and get the job done. And that's the issue. I'm not saying Pogba cannot be held accountable, because there have been situations in the past where he's had plenty of time, to actually do something with the ball and he's dilly-dallied. He cannot be protected from that nonsense that he's done in the past. But he's always going to be targeted because he's quite clearly the most talented midfielder with the most ability in our team. And every player that manager that talks about the club literally mentions Pogba. They always say, "Oh, Pogba can do this, Pogba can do that," because they recognize his quality. So what do? They make sure they get around him quick, so he has no time to breathe. He has no time to play those passes. Pogba does have his faults, but the way Liverpool marshaled yesterday was brilliant, because Firmino was not chasing people from behind when it was McTominay and Fred. Oh, sorry, it was Fred, but McTominay, no. But when McTominay, it was sort of like a 4-3-3 Pogba on the right, or 4-2-3-1 Pogba on the right, and then it will become like a diamond with Rashford and Ronaldo up front. It was just very disjointed. There was no logic behind what the substitutions. Diogo Dalot came on at some point.
Cavani played box striker.
Yeah, like Cavani and Ronaldo playing. Cavani was on the right wing, on the left wing, and then he was next to Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo. It's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So Pogba does not help himself, absolutely, and I do agree with that. But you have to always target the best player in midfield. If you stop the key man in midfield, you stop Man United. And Bruno Fernandes is not the key man in midfield because he's hardly ever in the midfield. So he's going to be Paul Pogba.
I mean, since we're talking about talented midfielders, I say we go to Arsenal, talk about Thomas Partey getting his first goal.
You are. Also, because peep under the curtain, in the group chat, this guy has got worse than Partey.
We're not discussing the group chat here. We're talking about face to face, live on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel, of course. About Thomas Partey scoring an amazing header. What's wrong with that?
Quickly, before we go to Arsenal, though, can I just say something about Liverpool real quick, and then we bounce to Arsenal?
This guy, man, we spent 40 minutes on Liverpool. Let's talk about Arsenal.
But they won 5-0, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? So,
Chelsea won 7.
They did, but Norwich.
But the thing is, this was the worst Man United performance in Premier League history. It's worse than 6-1 against City. It's worse than 6-1 against Spurs. It was the worst Man United performance in Premier League history. Really deep, that sentence, and that is why we spent 40 minutes talking about it.
Yeah, but I will say this for Liverpool's sake, Matip and Konate are doing one hell of a job this season. So Van Dijk is living nice right now. He's not even looking like the best defender, and he is their best defender, but he's not looking like the best defender because Matip's put on the clinic so far, and Konate walked seamlessly in and put on one hell of a show yesterday. So I want to give praise to those guys as well, because that's what you need. You need to be able to trust your defenders. I don't know how Samuel feels about this. I don't trust Joe Gomez, but I trust the other two.
Why not Gomez? Why not?
I've noticed some things that I'm very critical of defenders. I'm very, very critical of defenders, and he is someone that he has this knack of when he's being approached, he likes to keep backing up. Van Dijk does it to sort of assess you, but then there's a shape to it. So it's like, you're not going to come central. I'm going to drag you out wide if I can, but I'm going to make sure you have very little chance of getting in the middle. Whereas Gomez is just sort of like, I'm going to keep backing up till he's near enough the 6-yard box before he makes a challenge. I don't like that trait about him. It's not that he's not a good player, but I have questions about his defensive capabilities. I trust the other two more. That's just my thing by him. But no, it's not that he's bad. I think if you have those two more,
For me, Gomez, I always back him because obviously in 1920 he was at times he was better than Van Dijk. Do you know what I'm saying? I get obviously the fact that obviously he's come back from an injury, so obviously he has, and I think the game against AC Milan, he was a bit off when he came on against, I think it was Porto, if I'm not mistaken. He had a few off games as well, so I do agree that obviously, as of now, he's not really hitting his peak, and obviously, I think it's going to take a long time because he's not getting consistent game time, so it will take a while for him to get back to that level. Obviously, in 1920, he was outstanding, you know what I'm saying? He was outstanding. Obviously, he does have an issue with his defensive positioning, but also he kind of has the ability. His recovery pace is so good that he can like get back in it. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of is up for it. But yeah, he's not Van Dijk's. Obviously, like he's not perfect. He does have a few flaws, but I do feel as if like he will get back to his level. Whether that be at Liverpool, I don't know, because obviously I don't know if he's going to be willing to, I don't know, play as a second or third choice. I think Konate is going to be that guy next season. I think Matip probably leaves. I think he's getting quite old, and he was meant to leave this season as well. So yes, I think that's nothing ongoing. But let's just move on to Arsenal, innit? Yeah.
Can we? I feel like there's still a bit more ranting to go. No,
I'm good.
The team with the best midfielders: Sambi Lokonga, Thomas Partey, Alex Lacazette, great midfielders, right?
Alex Lacazette.
He's playing 10, bro. He's playing 10.
What is he? That's years of being brought up on fufu and yam. That's doing you good right now. Yeah, you respect Thomas Partey today.
It was good. If I'm going to have to be honest, because Darren's trying to call me out on this. Yes, I do discuss Thomas Partey's attacking ability.
Don't do that. Don't caveat it.
What? His attacking ability.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
What you're doing right now. You know that African meme when he goes, I want to be a terrorist. You're doing that right now. You're just lying. You're just coming to do lies. You rip into him. You have torn him to shreds.
Last season, mate, but this season,
you flat out questioned his quality, despite the fact that, and our guests will know this, because when you played against Liverpool for Atletico Madrid, that was one of the best individual performances.
I agree.
He was incredible that game. And the guy, injuries aside, and having to play alongside Xhaka, he's been alright for you, man. But your team, as I said before, a team is a composition of parts, and they have to be working. And also, they've been working. So, how are you expecting Partey, who literally works in the midfield, in the middle of the pitch, to be that guy when Xhaka is beside him, or Odegaard, who doesn't really play that way, or Sambi, who is very young, or El Nene, who's played alongside him before? This is what I mean. Good players need to be playing alongside good players to see their true quality. And I think Sambi's that guy, personally. I said this when you got him. I think him and Sambi, that's the double pivot for me in the future. I think I don't want to put myself too out there, although I've got a private Twitter account, so nobody can come at me. I think Arteta started to get it right. I think it's taken him ages. I think he started to get it. To be fair, at the same time, I do feel like if you had a Ten Hag, you'd have got it years ago. You'd have got it after the first year. But I think he's now starting to get it right.
Here's my rebuttal to that. I can see where you're coming from. I can definitely see where you're coming. There are games where we look very impressive. Tottenham, we kind of looked impressive against Aston Villa. We controlled most of the game. Don't get it twisted. But our goals,
good team. Don't get it twisted. They're a good side.
They are, but they aren't playing well. We have to admit that. And they're poorly managed. I think they're poorly. They're worse. Their manager's worse than Ole. So it is what it is.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Dean Smith is not worse than Ole. He's not even kind of worse than Ole. He's not even kind of worse than Ole.
I think it's worse.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the worst manager in the league. Dean Smith is a good manager.
Dean's a good manager. We're gonna go odds and ends of this. We've got what 20 minutes remaining of this whole podcast. We need to get moving on. Arsenal won. Good victory, Kojo.
Good victory. Dominant victory of Aston Villa, to be honest, because Aston Villa have been poor, but you still had to do what you had to do, and you dominated them from start to finish. Partey looked good. He was winning all the aerial balls defensively and offensively, actually. So that was very good to see. Lokonga looked tidy. Tomiyasu's a flipping rock. Bloody hell, he's a rock. Yeah, I see you, Darren. I know. Darren said it from the jump, though. He's been banging that Tomiyasu jump for a while now. It's not new. So Tomiyasu is looking great. Ben White looks like he's getting a bit more comfortable. I say comfortable. Jury's still out, but he's getting more comfortable.
So leave it to come back. Don't worry about it, bro.
Yeah, so when you saw Saliba's performance against PSG a couple of days ago, yeah.
And to be fair to Nuno Tavares, he played very well as well.
Very well.
So look, it's a good win because I had my questions about you after the Palace draw. I was like, you got away with it. Vieira kind of actually found a way to just make you look a bit silly, but you managed to get the draw in the end. And they came away them very much more disappointed side. But you've come against Aston Villa, they're not in form, and what Arsenal have done in the past is they play a team that's not in form and fold. They play a team that's not in form and smack them. But it's one. So let's see if you can, continue. But it's a good win. It's a good win.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, personally, I think ever since Arteta joined, I've always said, unlike Oli, I can always see he's trying to do something, and obviously whenever I watch Arsenal play, I think last season lockdown, I think I watched almost every single Arsenal game, so I could always see what they're trying to do. I could always see their shortcomings, and obviously, I've always said that Arteta is a really good manager. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I know it sounds mad. Obviously, he has had a total retirement, but I feel like, especially the game against Aston Villa, there was so many things that I can see. Alright, cool. If he gets that pattern, then they can be good. So, for example, when you watch a team like Liverpool this season, so Firmino's gonna drop deep, try to get the ball. Salah and Mane gonna run inside. You got Trent and Thing outside trying to get in crosses, and you got Van Dijk keeping a ball to Salah. You got so many ways of playing and so many ways of winning that you can see, alright, cool, there's a plan here. I can see the exact same thing with Arsenal, but they're a bit lower down in their development. For example, I think I saw Ben White ping a ball to, I think it might have been Saka or something like that. I saw I saw for the goal, Smith Rowe goal, Aubameyang dropping deep to ping it to flick it to Smith Rowe. When you see I think Smith Rowe get the ball, you always know Tierney or Tavares is going to be bombing down. So I can see so many ways of them trying to create chances, trying to score goals that I personally, if I was Arsenal fan, I've said it so many times, and obviously I do get a bit of stick in it because he's had a few bad results in it. But I've always said how if you give this guy players, and obviously I think he's got his players. I think Ramsdale top signing. I was done him. You know what I'm saying? Tavares a good backup. So with me, I think this season is going to be very interesting for Arsenal. I think they will still get a few blips, a few dodgy results, a few bad performances. But if you're looking at, obviously, the process, I know that sounds cliche, but if you're looking at the long-term plan and how it's moving, you can, from last season to last game, there's clear improvement in terms of the
I agree with that.
However, with the way they play, they're trying to play football that is that of Liverpool, City, Bayern Munich. So that requires top players to play. And obviously, Smith Rowe, Saka aren't exactly top players yet. Aubameyang, he's a top player, I would say, but he still has a few mentality issues. I think he's still not going to perform week in, week out. So I think the players that you have are good enough to play for, let's say, 25 games per season, but I do think maybe you might just fall short of top four. Maybe you might get top four, but I do think this season top four really isn't that much of a target because I think with United, I think they're going to sack Thing very soon. So I think the top four will be the top four. So I think yeah. So what I see from Arsenal is just that they've got a good plan. It's been very slow. It's been very slow. And I think that's down to obviously his first job, a few issues with the players, Guendouzi. So yeah. That's just my take on Arsenal. So yeah.
You know what? That's kind of made me positive about Arsenal. I'm being honest. I'm being absolutely honest. It might have to take an outside eye looking in just to get through all this negativity. And I don't get me twisted. I'm very negative about Arteta. I don't like the idea of this plan. I don't like the idea of this process. I've been a bit off him since day one. But I can see what you're saying, man. I can definitely see what you're saying. So I mean, thank you for that. I guess.
I can't lie. When you were saying
he said was absolutely fact.
When you were saying it was rattling me in my head, I was like, wait, he's right.
Yeah. You know what? Next game, even if we do lose against Leicester, I'm going to remember what you said.
Also, on top of that, he's already brought silverware in. He's brought silverware in on top of that.
Exactly.
He's brought. This is the thing, like, you got to remember, like, he's going to have teething issues. This is his first job. Or what? This is the biggest team in London, Arsenal.
Chelsea is, but okay.
It's a toss-up between the two. But like we're all born in the 90s, yeah? Arsenal was that Irons. But like, brought up in the 90s, Arsenal was that team. We all love Thierry, irrespective of what team we support. Do you know what I mean? Like, Arsenal have a special level of clout that not many English teams have. Maybe, if we're honest, Liverpool United?
Yeah.
So that is one hell of a job to take over. So he's obviously going to have teething issues. And also, Arsenal were a mess upstairs.
Yeah.
So we're taking all that into account.
Yeah.
Boy, I've never been this positive about Arsenal, but now
on his face. I've never seen this.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
But that's what I just see, man. Like, when I watch Arsenal, when I watch Arsenal, I think last season when I was up in uni, I literally watched 35, 36 games, and so I watched them a lot. And obviously, even I remember when you lost to Everton, I think it was last season, you lost, and obviously when I go on the TL, I'm seeing Arteta out. That was shocking. He's rich, and I'm like, when I watched the game, I genuinely didn't see a team that. Because when I Chris as a manager, I'm always looking, all right, cool. Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, then obviously that just warrants the thing. If you if you have a plan, is that plan conducive to the players that you have? Would you call it? Maybe did you make a wrong sub, like something like that? And obviously whenever I've always watched Arsenal, like even some of my friends, they're always negative. But I'm like, bro, like I can see something here. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like when I was Arsenal, there's always a plan. Sometimes the players that are playing, they're not good enough. Do you know what I'm saying? So that can usually sometimes make it a bit worse. But honestly, like I can honestly see something going to Arsenal. I think obviously it'll take a long time. Not a long time, but I think obviously it's taken a long time so far. But as you've seen, I think you're unbeaten in 7 games. Yeah. And things like, I think when Klopp came, we were getting, obviously Klopp was a bit faster, but when we started to pick up pace, we were drawing games like 2-2. Like we were doing that, and then we will win games. So it's a thing where it's up and down. And obviously, what I still have a little bit of doubt about Arteta is if he has I think now it's about man management to get the players to be mentally ready to go at every single game. I think technically he's quite good, but to get their mentality to a point where you have to win 36 games, 35 games per season, that's why I don't know. Obviously, it's his first job, so that's the only thing about him so far that I have my doubts about. But apart from that, like his talent ID, Ramsdale was crazy. I thought that he was shit. Like I thought he was rubbish. Tomiyasu, perfect right back for Arsenal. Kvara's perfect backup. You got what's his name? I think the only thing it might be with Odegaard. Maybe they should run for Madison, but apart from that, yeah, man, literally, yeah.
Okay, you made 4 or 5 points I can't refute. So yeah, we have to move on. Okay. Next week, if we lose, I'm remembering this. Like, there's a plan. All right.
He's genuinely happy, you know. That's the thing. He's like, oh no, you know what? He's right, you know. That's
It's
mad.
right, absolutely right. I can't deny. Can't deny. Chelsea 7, Norwich City 0. This was one of those games. I mean, Lukaku wasn't even playing, and he absolutely panned them. This kind of puts into not doubt, but puts all the negativity behind them. They don't really score that many goals. They're not clicking offensively. This game, they were direct. They were straight out the blocks.
Wait, let me say something about Chelsea. Chelsea probably the team. I personally don't think they're gonna challenge strongly for the title. When you look at the stats behind the season thus far, I think there was a times points and a times goal table that came out, and I believe they were around 4th place or something like that. And whenever I watch Chelsea, defensively brilliant. Defensively, probably the best team in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? That 5 at the back, Mendy's a monster. Kante, like defensively, they're really, really good. I can't lie. However, offensively, I feel as if they don't have many methods of creating quality chances. I think, for example, I didn't even watch the game against Norwich, but I saw the first goal. I think that was a banger from Mount.
Yeah.
I think when I watch big teams like United and with Arsenal, and I always look how frequently do you create chances that a player is almost certain to score, and I don't feel Chelsea do that enough. I think the goals that they score, for example, against us, Havertz, that was a wonder header. And obviously we saw against City that they couldn't get a sniff. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel as if there's a few attacking issues there that have been papered over because of the fact that Lukaku can score from almost anything. He can almost score low quality chances. I think Ben Chilwell has 4 goals in 4 games. That's not sustainable. So I just feel as if the way they attack, there's a few flaws, and I think definitely when I watched, I think they played against Aston Villa. They matched them up, and before they scored, Aston Villa they were all over them. Like they were all over them. I think there was a game against Juventus. They matched them up 3-5-2. They were all over them. So I think with Chelsea, I think personally there's a clear way to beat them. Do you know what I'm saying? I think even before they even won against Norwich, Tuchel was him saying how he matched that. I think he said how he might have to change things around because I think he's even started to deep that if you match Chelsea up, go man for man, you stop Jorginho, you stop the ball getting to Lukaku. I think there's a clear way on how to beat Chelsea, and it's not that difficult. But yeah.
Can I say a couple of things on Chelsea too?
Go on.
And also, to be fair, like there is scope to your analysis on Chelsea. You have made some really good points, especially the Villa game. That Villa game was a bump of Villa. They did not deserve that scoreline. But I will say this: what is in the water at that Cobham Academy? Because my God, it's a madness. We're not even talking about the players that they have at their team, because we all know Ruben Loftus-Cheek is good when he's fit. We all know kind of Hudson-Odoi just needs a run of games. We got Mount, we got Reece James, bro. Then you got Trevor Chalobah, and then they've got enough strength and depth to go. Brighton, you can hold Lamptey. Southampton, you can hold Livramento. What? That's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's at Cobham? Abramovich's checkbook. That's what's at Cobham. It's as simple as that. He just has the ability to sign up every single youngster out there going, and he's done well.
But you say that.
Do you agree that? Because I think I heard somebody say that Chelsea have the best academy out there right now.
Yeah.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
But look at City. Other than Cole Palmer, nobody's coming through their team like that.
Rory Delap.
Huh?
Allow
it. No, is it? Like, Trevor Chalobah is coming into Chelsea team with depth. Let's not pretend that he didn't just get Kurt Zuma his P45. Now he's playing in Stratford. Kurt Zuma is a seasoned Premier League footballer who's playing on loan at Stoke when they were up. played at Everton, and now he's played at a very good West Ham side. Trevor Chalobah's gone, nah, I'm in, I'll move. After a loan in France. Like, it's different. It's not the same as United, as Liverpool, as City, who have that money to make those changes, to be that influential. But really, United, fingers crossed that Hannibal Medri makes it. But that's about it. Maybe Showtime. But other than that, not really. But I don't think Garner's gonna make it, because Jesus Christ, everybody knows where that needs a number 6, and everybody thought, no, we'll just bring him back from left for us to give him a go. City have got nobody other than Cole Palmer. Curtis Jones is just getting his shine now, and Harvey Elliott would have had a fantastic season if it weren't for the injury. But in terms of the constant numbers and the constant quality as well, the quality is mad. Because Livramento is now one of Southampton's best players. Kyle Hudson-Odoi is keeping out a myriad of talent out of that squad. They're talking Pulisic, Ziyech, Werner. Now these men are playing. Werner's got international caps for Germany. Ziyech was doing the madness in the Champions League for Ajax. Pulisic was the US talent. Like, so they're moving different with their youth system.
You're trying to get a word in, Kojo.
Just with Chelsea, it's obviously there's always been criticism about how they use their youth players with the loan system and that, but there's always been two things about them. They loan out a load of players because they know it's a way to make money off those players after they go away and see if they're worth their weight in gold. But on the other side of it is, despite loaning out so many players, they were winning youth championship after youth championship, youth FA Cups, youth European Cups, youth leagues. They've got talent, an abundance of talent. We've even got a friend. I'll say after the thing. I'm sure he doesn't want me to say it live. We've got a friend that is now working at the club, and he's seeing firsthand more talent. And boy, they're not finished. They're continuing. They're continuing. But I think Abramovich and the club as well, they sort of get what they're trying to do. There's always been a way about their philosophy of using youth. So, we've spoken about back in the day, people like Gal Kakuta and who's the other one as well? The one that was there for a long time, Lucas Piazon, for two examples, right? And these guys went on loan after loan after loan after loan. But the reason why they went on loan after loan after loan
is it Marco van Ginkel as well?
Marco van Ginkel's another one. These guys went on loan after loan after loan, but the reason they never really made it in the first team is because they didn't have the abundant quality to make it in the first team. I've been very critical of like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, for example, because he's not available, quite frankly. He's a good player, he's talented, but he's not available enough, a lot of injury problems. But the reason why he's still there is because when he's usable, he's a good player. And all these players that they're now fitting in, as Darren's mentioned, they just easily fit into the team as well. And they're all tactically aware of different things. So, there's something very, very different in that water. And I think for young talent that are developing, it is the best place to be right now, especially if you have the quality to make it in the first team. So, boy, Reece James is looking like a bad boy. Chalobah's looking like a bad boy. He's looking better than his brother. And Nathaniel Chalobah was highly rated. Remember that. Trevor, not really spoken about much, but he's popping there right now. So, yeah, man, it's good for them. But as for the 7-0, look, it's Norwich, man. They're going down. That's not even.
So, yeah, I was going to say quickly on Norwich, like they should be on some sort of like Premier League purgatory because the way their team works is they're never good enough to compete in the Premier League, but they're always too good to be in the Championship.
Yeah.
They're like the modern day West Brom, the yo-yo club.
Yeah.
That's what they just the up and down thing. But at this point, it's like Stoke. I don't want to see them no more. Just go and.
But at the same time, the other teams in the Championship need to up their game.
True.
They need to up their game. So.
A team that has upped their game has been over recent weeks has been Brighton Hove Albion. They lost 4-1 against Manchester City. Goals from Phil Foden, Ilkay Gundogan, and Riyad Mahrez and Alexis McAllister got a consolation. Samuel, we'll go to you because these are the guys that I imagine you think are your closest rivals. What Phil Foden? How out of this world is he? Because he's going from strength to strength.
Personally, I've said this from last year when they went on that mad Champions League run. I've said that Foden to me is the best player. Okay, cool. I can't call him the best player in the world because I think that's still Messi. But in terms of if you're looking at the next generation, Foden, Mbappe, Haaland, I'm putting him at the top in terms of them.
I agree.
Reason being because when I see Foden, I don't know what he can't do. He can play 8, he can play 6, he can play left wing, right wing, cam, false 9. He can play anywhere from midfield to attack. And he can do much more with the ball. He can dictate play like Thiago. This guy can play like a winger like Sterling. He can play false 9 like Firmino. He can do every single job that there is that a midfielder / attacker should be able to do. Personally, he is a talent. He's special. I rate him higher than Mbappe personally. And I just think, he's special, man. He's special. I would love to have him in my team, but yeah, man, he's special.
Bro, keep talking the things. Keep talking the things. Because this guy, Pep Guardiola said it perfectly yesterday. He said there are footballers that play positions and there are footballers that play football. That's Phil Foden. I was like, that's bars. And that's bars I cannot disagree with. That's bars. The guy is excellence. Literally, you said it. You see him play up front or false 9. He's aced it. Cam, he's aced it. Right wing, he's aced it. Left wing, he's aced it. Deeper, he's aced it. What can he not do? What can he not do on a football pitch?
Yeah, personally, I just rate him so highly, man. Like, even last year when Mbappe was going crazy, and obviously people do put Mbappe at like probably the next best player in the world, but personally, if Foden gets to play 30 games per season, gets to have at least play most games in the Champions League, I think he's the guy, man. Personally, I just think, man, he's just beautiful to watch.
I think the way people talk about Mbappe is also because of, remember the breakout season that him and Monaco at that time had in the Champions League. That was like, ooh, wow, who is this new team and this new kid on the block at the same time? Whereas us all being in England, we all knew Foden was there or thereabouts. And like the bad thing about him is he's not 25, not 26. He could have got more development to do.
He's not finished.
He's not finished. Mate, he's barely started. It's completely different with Foden. I will say this though, Brighton, second half, completely different team. Completely different team. And that is one of the reasons why I rate Graham Potter so highly. He assessed the situation at half time. The game was gone, right? But the Brighton that came out in the second half and the changes he made when they brought Lamptey on, bro, they look like a completely different team. And Brian needs to pray to God that Newcastle don't just throw money at that Graham Potter guy, because I think he is the most key asset in that Brighton team is him. He is a fantastic coach. And what can you say about City? They're live, isn't it? So Foden's great. What can you say?
Bro, you're muted.
As I was saying, in the final game against the top 6, it was West Ham 1, Tottenham.
Iron.
You guys, you call me shameless. You guys are absolutely shameless. But Michael and Tony,
we're all from you. Don't do that.
Come on, bro.
who's around the corner? You're in Manchester, bro. So don't try around the corner. Don't try around the corner.
Don't say we're from Newham. Allow it. Don't do that.
Nah, bro. You're far removed from Newham. Now you can't be supporting them. You should be supporting Salford, bro. That's what you should be supporting. But Mikel Antonio
stuck out for berries.
Mikel Antonio got the only goal of the match. Darren, how bad? It was a poor game. It was a horrible game to watch. Me and Kojo were watching at my place, and it was just an absolute bore fest. But Mikel Antonio got the vital goal. Harry Kane went to sleep when he was defending him. But they get the win, and West Ham keep rolling. If you want, there we go. West Ham keep rolling.
Can I say this though? West Ham wanted it to be a bad game. They wanted it to be dead because they're in a team better at some pieces than West Ham Football Club in the Premier League. When Cresswell's whipping that ball in, and you've got Souček, Antonio, Agbona, or Dawson or Diop attacking the ball, like who really wants it with you? Like nobody really. When you got the thing is, West Ham are such a well-functioning unit. It's like Moyes said to his Everton team, "Let me reload it one more time," and he's doing it. Like I got so much love for West Ham at the minute. Not only because I grew up around the corner, but because they are so efficient. They're so difficult to play against. And every team that goes up against them knows that they're going to be in there for a long day. And you got to respect it. In terms of Spurs, they should have known better with regards to set pieces. That should have been the thing that they really drilled down on the training. In terms of Harry Kane, how many times and how many ways can you say somebody doesn't want to be there before you run out of ways to say it?
That's what I was going to say. I'll go to you, Sam. How is the Harry Kane problem becoming much more than they can afford right now? Because they tried to keep him, but it's not working right now. And is it becoming more and more of a problem?
Yeah, man. I highlight Tottenham, like you said, they're very boring to watch nowadays. I hardly watch them, but yeah, man. Harry Kane. I watched a bit of the West Ham game, and yeah, man. Like he just doesn't seem like he wants to be there. I think there was definitely some sort of discourse between him and what's his name, Daniel Levy. I think he's probably weighing it out. But yeah, man, I think he got 1 goal so far. I think 10 shots on target. Like he doesn't want to be there. And Kane's better than that. You know what I'm saying? Kane, there's no way that you can sit there and say he's declined. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's just not good enough anymore. Because Kane's Kane. You know what I'm saying? You don't just decline over one season, especially after the season that you had before, after the Euros. You can't, like, no one can say he's just not good anymore. So it's clear that he they don't want to be there. And Tottenham really just aren't in a good place right now. Nuno is the wrong manager for them. He's not good enough either. The way they play is boring. And they're a bit like United. Like they just don't have a proper structure in the way they play. But yeah, man, literally, yeah. Tottenham, to be honest, they're a very dull team to watch and just to think. So yeah, man, yeah.
Kojo, your final thoughts on the game?
West Ham came away. They were the better side in a poor game. They were the better side, so they deserved the victory from start to finish. Antonio lost a goal against West Ham. I know strikers are not the best defenders, but Harry Kane, that he was goal side. He was literally in the right position to stop him having an attempt, and he was absolutely pathetic in his attempt to block him. But I think it's just the same old thing with Spurs. Look, they're gonna at some point sack Nuno. I think that's going to be this season, personally. And then they're going to bring in another manager. But what it is with this team is moving away from Harry Kane for just a moment. A lot of these players are just there on either a moment, not moments, a moment, or they're just not good enough. Point blank, period. Lucas Moura is still living off Ajax. Bergwijn, they're still hoping for the guy that came from PSV. He's not that guy right now. He's not going to be that guy for Tottenham. I like Son. I think Son is a brilliant footballer, but he's inconsistent. So, I mean, I'm not saying get rid of him because he's one of their best players, but eventually you have to recognize. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the only players that can come away with any credit from me are Højbjerg, Oliver Skip, Romero, because he's starting to show the form that he was having at Atalanta bit by bit. It's not there, but he's showing it a little bit. And I'd even say they have to even at some point get past Hugo Lloris. At this point, he's still a good goalkeeper, but I'm sure you signed Golini because there's a reason you signed him. It's not just to bring him in and spin it back up. There needs to be a replacement. There needs to be a change of the guard. There is a big job to do at Tottenham, and I agree with Samuel that Nuno's not the man to deliver it. There is a big job. People tell me that their team does have some good players, Tanguy and Ndombele being one of them, of course, but I feel like the job is huge, man. It's far too huge. There's a lack of mentality. There's a lack of quality, and I don't even know which manager would be right for the job, if I'm being honest.
Can I say this with Spurs? I think a lot of it is a lot of muddled up thinking, and it came specifically to head the summer when they went through like 10 managerial appointments. They had all different styles. They brought in Paratici to be DOF, but they also wanted Fonseca, who have completely polar opposite ways the way football should be set up. And then Fonseca didn't come work out, and then Paratici wanted more defensive players, so more defensive style of football. And when you look at the Spurs team, you look at players like, the thing is, there were some real diamonds in my opinion in that Spurs squad. When you look at Dombele, when you look at Giovanni Lo Celso, when you look at Romero, when you look at obviously Kane and Son, they go without saying. When you go on, when you look at Ali, quote unquote, under certain circumstances and playing under certain positions, not as an 8, but as a second striker, similar to the way Bruno Fernandes operates himself at Man United. There is something there that could be built upon to be made better. We've not seen anything of Brian Hill, so we don't know what he could offer. Fresh new ideas on the wing, we've not really been able to see it. I look at the Spurs team and look at the parts of the Spurs team and think, well, why don't they try and play a bit more of an expansive, possession-focused football? Because they've got some of the players. Like Højbjerg is probably top 5, 6s in the Premier League. And he can play with the ball as well. He has a bit more of a creative role for Denmark. He can definitely play. So I just look at the team and I think the Nuno was not the right signing. But at the same time, they had no idea what they were going through when it came to the managerial appointment. And it's just showing itself almost every week. That's the problem. Can you see the comment?
Yeah.
Jack is stressed. He's very, very stressed. But no, he makes a fair point, and Darren, you're right as well. It's just muddled up. I mean, he said it perfectly here. Leaving away attacking football, but it's hired a defensive director of football in Paratici, then hired Nuno, then didn't sign attacking midfielder. They're still looking at Dele Alli to deliver the goods, and he's
not creative. He's a scorer. Dele Alli.
This was
you play right behind Harry Kane to sniff up and gobble up all the chances that Harry Kane is missed.
Honestly,
he's taking the defenders away.
Honestly, for me right now, I think Dele Alli doesn't even have that in his game anymore. I feel like he needs to be changed into a striker at some point. He doesn't have, or he's not showing the same sort of link up or the hunger to even get in with those goals at this point. I don't know what his game is anymore. It was very easy when we knew what we had behind him with Wanyama, and that was beautiful. But I don't know what it is. I'm saying striker just for him to try and sort of save himself elsewhere. I don't think he's got a future as a midfielder, point blank period. I don't think he's got the minerals for it.
He's a second striker, but he's also got post-Mourinho paralysis. So he's
every day bringing up Mourinho, bro.
No.
Hear me out. He was starting to stink on Pochettino. Mourinho came in.
They all were.
No, hear me though. Mourinho came in, he had his moment. He's got like 5 goals in like 3 games. Remember that goal at United when he controlled it from the height, flicked it, and then banged. He was having his moment, and then he became Dele Alli again. I've always said it, bro. Yeah, Giroud had a moment when he chopped up Vegeta's tail, and then he went missing. Everyone has their moments, bro.
But the thing is, during Spurs' best period, Dele Alli was a constant in that period. Let's not pretend that he wasn't so key in where they got to under Pochettino. And the thing is, the issue with the way things ended with Pochettino is they're at the highest highs. A lot of the footballers didn't realise, or they probably deeped at the end of the game, that this is probably as good as it got for them when they lost against Liverpool in the Champions League final. Because let's be real, Mohamed Sissoko is not playing in the Champions League final ever again in the rest of his career. That was his one and done. So, I mean, that was the case for bare of that Spurs squad. You think Eric Dyer's going to play in the Champions League final? No. Of course he isn't. How do you pick a team up after that? The only way you can really move forward is by going, all right, 6 of you need to go. We're starting again. I don't think that Dele needed to be one of those 6 at that period of time. But that whole squad needed refreshing after that moment because the morale of that team would have been shaking hands with Satan all the way down.
Before they got to the final, the manager was saying that we need new furniture, and he wasn't listening to you. So
he knew.
By the way, Jack made another comment. I'm not going to put it up because it's
don't put it up. Don't even mention it, bro. We're moving on.
It's a legend.
So
What's a legend?
We'll talk after.
But thank you. Yeah, well, thank you, Jack, for bringing it up and trying to derail this podcast.
Is it fair man sack?
No.
It's not a sacking. No.
It's some sort of sacking.
It's family affairs.
There we go.
Latin East.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We will wrap it up there. Samuel, where can they find you?
Yeah, man. So my ad's literally down there. 9 Squeeze on Instagram. On Twitter. Sorry. Obviously I've got a podcast as well. So type in anywhere: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Hashtag the Pep Talk. It should come up. And yeah, man. Hopefully I've got a lot more content on the way. So yeah, that's where you can find me, man.
Kojo, where can they find us?
Obviously here on YouTube for In Midfield podcast, and then everywhere else: Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok. 3 Midfield.
This has been another episode of the Match Report. Good night.